Get your reactions ready. The live portion of the show will begin in just a moment.
Runs in the first. That one's driven deep to left field. Going back, Castro. Track. Wall. See ya. First home run in the big leagues. Anthony Volpe.
Anthony Volpe. A spectacular OG.
That one's driven out to right center field. And that ball is long gone.
Today is April 14th, 2023. It's Friday night under the lights at Yankee Stadium, and the Yankees are playing the Twins for Game 2 of a 4-game set as they try and bounce back from a tough loss. My recap and your reactions coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
Hey guys, before we go any further, I got to take a second to thank tonight's sponsor, Game Time. I'll tell you what, trying to get tickets at the last second has always been a nightmare. Someone says, hey, we should go catch the game tonight, or hey, my favorite band is playing in town next weekend. But thankfully, there's a great app for last-minute ticket deals. Game Time has the deals right up until the day of the event. It's the fastest-growing ticket app in the country for a reason. Download the Game Time app and use the code NYY Recaps for $20 off your first purchase. That's NYY Recaps, no spaces, for $20 off on the Game Time app. Lowest price on last-minute tickets guaranteed. Well, that is 2 very bad losses in 2 days. Welcome back, everybody. I am encouraged that some of you at least showed up after the drubbing we took yesterday, down 11-0 in the third inning, and an absolute gut-wrencher tonight. I would much rather get blown out like the Yankees did last night than lose a game like tonight, a game that, frankly, quite early on felt like it had one of those special kind of night feelings to it. You missed a much better game if you didn't tune in. A lot of home runs. Volpe, Judge, Giancarlo all went deep. Nestor pitched a hell of a game. But unfortunately, Clay Holmes has become his own worst enemy again. The guy is an absolute head case. A head case. How hard is it to throw strikes as a major league pitcher? Look, I don't want to hear about my release point. I don't want to hear about working on my mechanics. That's what fucking spring training is for. Horrible night. Just putting too many guys on base, not throwing strikes. He worked out of it against Cleveland, but it was only a matter of time before being that reckless came back to bite him, and it got him tonight. And the Yankees series win streak is over because the best they can do now is a split. I actually have on the thing series tied. That is wrong. Twins lead series. Let me fix that. Twins lead 2-0. That is a typo in my... I jumped the gun. I had it. I was building out, and that was a spot that I was reserving. So apologies for the typo on the screen. Brett Deutsch says, Hal, Cashman, Analytics, and Boone will never win a title. Analytics has already won titles. Analytics isn't the problem. I think Boone going to the closer in the 8th inning was probably the appropriate thing to do there. Unfortunately, we just don't have a good closer. That's the problem. And for that, yes. You can put some blame on Cashman. He traded for this guy. Look, there was a time last season when Holmes was just unhittable. And, you know, that seems to have dried up. And on a night that we should be talking about Volpe and Judge and Stanton, we're talking about Clay Holmes. So, by the way, Anthony Volpe did hit his first Major League home run tonight, so we got to give him a round of applause. Last night we talked about how, you know, we wanted a power outage. Tonight it wouldn't have mattered because Volpe's smile was lighting up New York. Call from John Sterling was a Spetacolo OG. Let me go ahead and play the sound for you.
Anthony Volpe, a spectacular OG.
A Spectacular OG. At first, I thought he said Anthony Volpe, a spectacular OG. And I was like, damn, Sterling's getting a little gangster. Worth noting, 2 starts that he's been in the leadoff spot. He led off the game with a shot off the wall in Cleveland. And then tonight, the home run. So maybe he is more comfortable out of the leadoff spot. Tonight in the broadcast, they talked a little bit about, the pros and cons of having him hit ahead of Judge. Look, you don't want him stealing bases or getting thrown out ahead of Judge because, one, if he gets thrown out, obviously that takes an RBI opportunity away from Judge. But if he steals, you can just walk Judge. And I think most pitchers, no matter how good Rizzo is, would rather pitch to Rizzo than Judge. But I go back on 4th inning. Let me know in the comments what you think. But nice job for Anthony Volpe tonight. Next batter was Aaron Judge, and he went deep, 5th home run of the year. For most guys, that's a routine fly to right center, but he's just one of those guys. He's just so strong. His size and strength, he just muscled it out. I mean, I don't even think he really hit it that good. Also, something tells me that this is not the last time that those 2 guys will go back-to-back to lead off a game. Nestor restored order to the pitching staff for the beginning of the game, at least. He pitched 7 pretty good innings tonight. He was keeping the Twins off balance. He had 7 strikeouts. The breaking ball was sharp, I thought. He gave up a couple of home runs, but look, they weren't, bombs. They were just kind of, fence scrapers. And for the most part, he was Nestor. He ran out of gas, I think, a little bit late in the game, but not his fault tonight. Nice play by Franchy Cordero in the 6th inning. He made a diving catch in right field. It'll be interesting what happens to that roster spot when Bader comes back. Because, Oswaldo had a good night tonight, too. I think Oswaldo had a multi-hit game. Let me pull his stats up. He went 2 for 4. He's hitting 286. He's not doing too bad. Cordero 1 for 4, hitting 250. He picked up a hit late. Talk about that in a second. Bottom 6. Ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball. Giancarlo. 4th home run of the year. Laser beam, 105 miles an hour off the bat, about 5 or 6 rows deep. He's off to a hotter start than usual. He's usually one of those guys who heats up with the weather. But, he's been heating up, and the weather's been heating up a little bit earlier than normal. He had a multi-hit game. He's hitting 271, 863 OPS. So off to a good start. A lot of decent batting averages. We'll talk about that when we get to the box score. Another solo home run for the Twins from Garlick in the 7th. That cut it to 3-2. We also had the porch job from Carlos Correa. Forgot to mention that. I don't like Correa. I don't think a lot of Yankees fans do because of all that stuff with the Twins. But you have to admit, the guy plays really well against the Yankees. I mean, he's just a Yankee killer. Always has been. Yanks went to Clay Holmes in the 8th, and, he's just, like we said, becoming a head case, single, walk, double, and just like that, it was 4-3 Twins. Excellent play on the defensive side from Anthony Volpe in that inning. Ground ball behind the runner who was on second, and he was able to run him down and make a quick flip to get the out. Great tag from Gleyber Torres there. So nice job by Volpe. Twins brought in Johan Duran in the bottom of the 9th, and Franchy led off with a bullet single. But Oswaldo Cabrera bounced one to shortstop for an easy 6-6-3 double play.
Double kill.
Willie Calhoun came in to pinch hit for Trevino, popped up, and the Yankees drop a heartbreaker.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
Dante Ferletti says, Sterling's calls really just get funnier. I thought that was a good one. I thought the one they posted on Yankees Twitter was better. It was when the ball hits the bat and goes over the wall, or when the bat hits the ball and it goes over the wall, that's a Volpe. I thought that was good. When the bat hits the ball and goes over the wall, that's a Volpe. I thought that would have been great. Richard says, not good if we're losing Nestor/Brito starts. Well, you're going to lose some Brito starts for sure. I mean, he's a rookie. You don't expect him to stay undefeated. So many rookies have to make an adjustment when they get to the major leagues, and he definitely has got to make an adjustment. Last night, just too many balls down the middle of the plate. Tonight, you really should have won. Tonight, it's totally on Clay Holmes, totally on the bullpen. Cue Ball says, Yankees need a guy like Duran. 100%. And Jason says, Wandy should be the damn closer. Wandy's about as reliable as it gets. Wandy is just straight up reliable. He doesn't do it with 100+ miles an hour. He just pitches. And he moves the ball around. He throws strikes. He works quick. He gets late movement. That's how you do it. Frankie Baseball says, Clay Holmes can't close a tag.
That is correct.
Let's see here. Ashlyn says, the one thing, considering we know Holmes is not reliable, why put him in so early? Use Peralta. Well, I don't think it's about putting him in early. I think it was about the players that were coming up. It was Taylor, who had a good night last night and was 1 for 3 tonight, then Buxton, then Correa. So those were going to be the 3 hitters. So you want a couple of ground balls there. You want him to come in and get through the best 3 hitters, essentially, and then maybe go to Wandy in the 9th against Solano, Miranda, Jeffers, Garlick, whoever. But he just crapped the bed. I mean, there's no other way to say it. Just a horrible night. This really should have been a better night for the Yankees, but as Jeffrey Ellison says, a trio of solo home runs.
Since when did you get so smart?
That's the story. The Yankees just don't score a lot of runs when they don't hit home runs. This was not a stud pitcher, guys. Varland has a 4.50 ERA. That was tonight. That was his first game of the season, actually. Last year, 26 innings. I mean, this is not a stud. 3.81 ERA, 263 batting average against. 25 years old. Looks like my paper boy. I don't understand why the Yankees don't hit better. They've got a lot of good hitters. Why don't they hit better? They do hit home runs. I'll give them that. Old Sarge says, you are what your record says you are. Holmes sucked before coming to New York and is always one pitch away from sucking again, no matter how good he gets. Let me digest that for a second. I guess everybody's one bad pitch away from sucking. I mean, anybody can give up a big home run, big hit here or there. My problem with Clay Holmes isn't his stuff. I think that the sinker has a lot of potential. My problem with Holmes is twofold. It's the consistency. He can't do it reliably. And it's also, he's mentally weak. I mean, that's not up for debate. The guy is mentally weak. If he loses a hitter, if he doesn't have it on the mound, he can't steer the train back on the tracks. He's mentally weak. Victor Ortiz has it right. Says putting him in was the right move. He just choked.
That is correct.
Lucas Tortora says King and Marinaccio for long relief, so I assume like 2-3 innings. Wandy is closer. Put Holmes in low leverage innings until he can control his sinker. That's probably the way the Yankees should go, honestly. Also, Ian Hamilton looked really good last night. 3 scoreless innings, 6 strikeouts. He's right now their, long relief guy, but if he keeps getting the swing and miss stuff with that slambio, then the Yankees are going to have to consider giving him more innings. Let's take a look at the box score here tonight. So the Yankees did have 8 hits. They had more hits than the Twins. Multi-hit games from Stanton and Cabrera. Kiner Falefa hitting a robust .091 on the season. Volpe up to 171. He's, I think he's had hits in 3 consecutive games, though. He also drew a walk, struck out a couple of times. It's coming around. Judge 1 for 4. He's fallen under 300 for the first time. I think he'll get back over 300. Seemed like he's kind of, not hitting the ball as well in the past several days, aside from the home run today, as he was early in the season. So maybe going through a little bit of a funk. Last year, those funks didn't last very long, and hopefully the home run tonight gets him going and he goes off on one of those streaks. Wouldn't be surprised to see him hit a couple in a game here pretty soon. Rizzo 1 for 4. He's hitting .319, leading the Yankees in batting average. Torres continues to struggle the last couple of nights. 0 for 4. He's down to .302. Remember, not too long ago, he was hitting about .450. So, just a tough night. Cortez got that 2.60 ERA. He's going to have some competition from Garrett Cole for Cy Young this year. Garrett Cole looks like he's on a mission. Shohei Ohtani also looks like he's on a mission. I'm still not 100% convinced that Shohei Ohtani can give you the innings needed. Because he plays, in the outfield so much. If he gives the Angels 32 starts, I'd be surprised. All right, let's get some more comments here. Oh, by the way, going live with Pete and Frankie on the weekly recap in about, half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that, probably around 10. I'm going to wrap this up in about, 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll take a break, and I'll get that show set up, get those guys hooked in, and then we'll go live. David Douglas says the Yankees will hit him 9th tomorrow. Referring to Volpe. Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, if DJ's back in the lineup, it makes sense. FJ says, how many games will they win if they only score 3 solo shots? Yeah, you got to find ways to put crooked numbers up there, right? You got to find a way to get guys on base and then hit the home runs. Now, you can't do much about Volpe and Judge hitting home runs back-to-back to lead off the game. I mean, you can't put anybody on base in that situation. Stan's home run was a solo shot. It's I think teams pitch the Yankees a lot differently when there's runners on base. Either that or the Yankees change their approach a little bit when there's runners on base. But, we've had a lot of comparisons to the 2021 season already. I do think this is a better team than the 2021 season, because we do have some more lefties. And I do think the pitching is better, especially once we get Rodon back. Rodon, WNBC. But, that team hit a lot of solo shots, and I'm getting those same kind of vibes. I feel it, I got to see more with runners in scoring position. Parks and Young says Nestor deserved a W. And Nestor is the real deal.
That is correct.
Yeah, Nestor should be 3-0. I feel for him. I really do. Laura V says, this was like an amazing night until Holmes. Congrats to Volpe. Yeah, that's the way I felt too. I felt like this was going to be one of those Yankee Classic kind of nights. And then Holmes, Now it's just going to live on forever in highlights. And this won't even be like a big recap. If the Yankees had won this game, I was expecting, 500, 600, 700 people in the chat. Typically when the Yankees, have a big win like that. I remember after the Judge home run against the Blue Jays to, his first ever walk-off home run last year, we had 1,200 people in the chat. I don't know if it would have gotten to that level on a Friday night. You learn the ebbs and flows of the audience. Typically Friday night is down a little bit because people are out doing stuff, but then people watch it on Saturday morning, so that's cool. But, with Volpe going deep, Judge going deep, Stanton going deep, you figured they can't lose. But Clay Holmes bucks ass. So Azaze says DJ is washed up.
What a load of bullshit.
DJ's having a good year. He gets hurt now and then. His body is breaking down. I'll give you that. But to say he's washed up, I don't agree.
It doesn't work that way.
Chase Zerwoski says, send Hicks to Japan. I don't know if Japan would take him. Frankie Baseball says, worst Yankee loss since yesterday. Oh, Frankie. NYY News TV, Mr. Pete saying, that's the problem. Yankees are trying to be too smart again, trying to overthink the room. They need somebody who can bring the gas. And Frankie says, I sound like I'm in mourning. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys in a few minutes. I'm sure we're going to have a lot to talk about. Ricardo Colon says, when return Rondon. It's actually Rodon or Rodon, depending on if you say it correctly or not, like I don't. I say that spectacularly bad. It's Carlos Rodon, and I say Rodon, and I don't know why, and I can't fix it. I'm working on it, but I say it wrong almost every time. I'm almost supernaturally bad at saying his name. Stone Cold says Johnny L is the closer. Well, Johnny L is on the IL, unfortunately, so I don't think we're going to be seeing him anytime soon.
Game over, man. Game over.
I gotta get out of here.
Victor says if this was a Twins YouTube channel, Clay Holmes would get the belt. I was really looking forward to giving Volpe the belt. I had it all set up. That's why we had series tied 1-1. I had that. I forgot to check that before we went live. But I had that set up, and I had Volpe set up to get his first belt, and Holmes screwed it all up. So it is what it is. I'll be live with a recap with Pete and Frankie just as soon as I can gather them. And then we will talk about the week in review and just kind of how the Yankees look so far this season. I'll see ya when I see ya.
Hey everybody, if you've made it this far, we thank you. If you'd like to support NYY Recaps, please like and subscribe or pay a visit to our Shopify store for some great Yankees merch.
Yes.
If you're watching on YouTube, the link is in the description. But if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, just visit NYYRecaps.shop. If you really want to support NYY Recaps and help keep the show going year after year, join up as a member.
Join us.
It's $5, and members get their names up in lights during each post-game show. We're also on all podcast platforms, Instagram, and Twitch this year. So give us a follow if you use any of those platforms. We're expanding, and we have you to thank for making this such a great community. We'll see you next time.
It is your destiny.
Case closed.
Ball game over.
Most impressive.